Crystal. How are you doing? Do you have any plans for the weekend? We'll get started in a minute or two. Hello, Viviana. Hello, Jennifer. Nobody wants to talk to me today. I see.
Hello.
Hello. It's like we're an old married couple already. Hi, how you doing? Whatever. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
There seems to be a total lack of energy in the room. So Amy needs to start us off with singing the Red River College anthem or song. I'm sure they have a song.
I don't think they do.
Well, let's make one up. All right. Okay. So we'll get started on chapter number 7. This, at least, I think, I'm actually looking forward to this chapter for some time. It's on psychological hazards in the workplace. So let's talk about this a bit. I'm not sure that, I need to sort of lecture in the traditional sense. This is very much, to me, a discussion. And what we'll do on Friday is something a little bit new. We'll do some role playing with this. To me, this has become a major issue, like compared to what it was years ago. The stressors and things along this line that people are aware. That used to just be, pardon my wording on this, but it used to just, like, psychological stressors were just for wimps. Suck it up. Suck it up, buttercup. If you've ever heard that phrase. One of my ex-wives use that phrase all the time. Just get over it. Deal with it. That is hopefully going away. That's showing a little more compassion and understanding. Did you know this? That is it 20? Something like that. 25% of adults suffer a psychiatric episode severe enough to be hospitalized. 20 to 25%. Somewhere in that range. And seems, I believe, all the people who've shown up today are of the female gender, at least by your voices, and to a degree your names. That one of the things that I always remember about that was a cousin of mine. He married a lady, and they wound up having, believe it or not, they had 9 kids. 7 at least. Right? And the point that I'm trying to get to is she would suffer postpartum depression sometimes. She would have to be hospitalized. That's surely to goodness in today's world, we don't think that that's that person's fault. It's just chemicals. My current stepdaughter has been diagnosed with bipolar. And I try and emphasize to her that's not anything, that's just a condition that you have in the same way these people have eczema. So talk to me, people. The more you participate today, the sooner we'll be done. What are some of the stresses that you're facing with school or in the workplace? Some talk about this if you're comfortable or if you know somebody.
Deadlines and heavy workload.
Okay. Yep. That is correct.
Trying to balance your personal life and your professional life.
Workplace, yes. You still have a personal life left? I thought we had squeezed all of that. So speaking of which, this weekend is a long weekend. Yay. An extra day with no classes. And so is anybody going to share with me and only share what you're comfortable with. This is just a discussion. Is anybody have any plans for the weekend? You're going to do something nice for yourself. You're going to have your favorite food, or you're actually going to sit down and watch an episode or 2 or 3 of your favorite show. Anybody care to share what you're going to do?
I'm definitely gonna relax, which will be good self-care.
Absolutely.
And I'm making a dinner on Monday for just my mom and I, so that'll be good.
Very nice. That will be very nice. Spending time with your mother. Sounds like a great idea. Having some yummy food. Absolutely. So when Amy is feeling like she needs to get to sleep, she's going to turn on one of these lectures that we've had, and it'll put her to sleep right away. Okay?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We used to do that with micro and macro.
Oh, I see.
Oh my God.
I'll ask because they don't know any of the instructors. Was it the subject or was it the instructor? Or both?
Both.
More of the content, but yeah.
Okay.
Dry stuff.
Yeah, I've taught micro and macro, and some of my least favorite courses at university were. I understand why they're important, but yeah, it's like you said, pretty dry stuff. Believe it or not, in all my years of schooling, I wound up taking how many? 6 econ courses. Yeah, 6. It's like, oh no, it wasn't the same course 6 times. Thanks you, Jennifer, for pointing that out. David took the same course 6 times. No. There were 6 different courses. All right. Anyways, so sometimes we focus in on the physical. We talked last week about chemical dangers and things along that line. And in this particular case, the psychological aspect to the job. With what's going on in today's world, in a workplace, and tell me what your other instructors at RRC are doing. This is just between you and I. Again, share what you feel comfortable with. This is a private conversation. I could even turn off the recording if you want. You don't have to use specifics, but are your instructors being more supportive than you're used to, being more flexible, being more understanding than perhaps you might have had in the past? What's going on?
Yeah, that's way more.
Okay. Are there any specific things that they're doing that you like? Anything I'm not doing that you would like me to do?
They're giving us more time to work on stuff, which is nice.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, why are they doing that? Just be nice people?
Just because our circumstances have changed in our learning environments, we're all at home now.
Right. And what they're finding is, I read this the last couple of days, is they're calling it the K effect. Well, that's what I'm calling it anyways. Some people are way better off. Some people are not. And there seems to be a divergence between the two. Some of you working in your homes is quite a challenge because of your physical space, your access to the internet, your family situation where you've got maybe your grandmother lives with you. You get the idea, right? It'd be a very challenging situation where some people, depending on if their personal situation is different, let's say they live at home, they're sitting there saying wow, this is great. I don't have to get up early in the mornings. Or maybe even the fact that some of you may not have a vehicle. Getting to school, you used to have to take the bus or some sort of transit, and now you can just sit at home and, and don't have to comb your hair. Right? You can just relax a little bit more. And so it's actually, wow, this is great. As opposed to other people, it's not. It's a very stressful situation. Even your familiarity with technology. Has anybody had to learn something in a tech world to be able to do your work at home? Logging in or things along this line are different, which they may or not be. You can see slide that it's real. It costs the Canadian workplace billions of dollars every year. And all right, and I am not sure why, but we seem to have about the same 5 or so people show up. I don't know what's happened to the others. Maybe they're just listening to the recordings outside. If you are, I will wave a friendly hello. But we seem to now have sort of settled in from the 9 people we have in class. We seem to have settled into on a regular basis about 5. So the point that I'm trying to make with that is some of those students might just find it stressful to come to class. They're finding this term overwhelming. I think I shared with you the other day an email I received from a student from another school who was just, I could just hear the tears in the email about how hard, I'm actually teaching her 2 courses this term, how hard she was finding both of them. English is not her first language. She feels that she is not strong in math or Excel. And she just was finding that it was just really overwhelming for her. And she did understand that there's not much else that can be done as far as we cannot meet face to face. And I have noticed in my classes this week, she has not been there. So I'm going to reach out to her and say, like, are you okay? First of all, I care about her as a person. Is she okay as a person? That comes first. Student is important, but you as a person is much more important. So has anybody ever skipped a day of work or a day of classes because you just felt stressed?
I've personally struggled with this since we came home. It's still a struggle for me. I've missed lots of class.
Okay.
But I just kind of turned my attitude around last week and just said, you know what, I'm not going to miss anymore. I'm just going to focus and get my routine better and work at that, which is what I'm doing.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing how you have a coping mechanism or a mechanism to deal with this. It is less structured, right? Than it was before. Show up, come to class, sit in the classroom, and listen and discuss and things along this line. It's not a format that works well for everybody. Some people, just like some people love working from home, and some people, no, I need my office. So it's not even just an S. So thank you. Who else? Anybody else care to share? And again, because we're talking about some of these issues and on a regular basis, share what you're comfortable with. And if you don't want to talk about anything that you view it as personal, then that's fine too. Have you ever had somebody in your life say, I'm going to take a mental health day? I'm going to take a mental health day. Alberta, the province that I'm in right now. Oh, go ahead, Crystal. Did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say that where I was working before I went back to school, my coworker, and she's a really good friend of mine, she took a mental health day and she got shit for it. Like,
Yep.
really.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's not as common as it was. But when the economy in Alberta was doing really well, I'd hear students say like, "Oh, I'm going to take that day off." Did you ask your boss? No, I'm just not going to. I'm just going to take the day off because what are they going to do? Fire me? They were desperate for people, and one of the problems is a manager. So what some of the places did is rather than giving people raises, what they did was they gave people, say, 5 or 6 or 10 days, 12 days of like flex days. What some organizations did was, you know how you have vacation time and some places have sick days? So let's say you have 3 weeks vacation, 15 days vacation, but you're also given 5 days sick days. They know, they're not totally stupid. They know that, well, I brought a vacation and I really want that day off, I'll just phone in sick. So what some companies did was they merged the two. They put the vacation time and the sick days together because they were finding that people would take sick days when they really wanted a day off, especially if they lost their vacation days, if they were not lost, but if they'd used them up. At that time, Alberta had the highest percentage of fake sick days, mental health days of any province in Canada. I personally, I'll tell you, I personally, there were some times when I would plan my sick day. I would plan a day, okay, 2 or 3 weeks from now, I need that day off. I need that day. I just need a day to not go into the classroom. And I would do one of those per term. I think the most I ever did was 2. I would take a mental health day. If the term was getting to me and I just needed a day to sleep in, watch some TV, not get in my car and drive to work, I would take a mental health day. And I did that. So was I actually physically sick? No. But I needed, or I felt that I needed that time off. In fact, I would kind of plan it in advance. I would kind of plan it so I'd have something to look forward to like you would a vacation day. The problem with that from an employer point of view, in a regular job, you need to replace that person. So if the housekeeping person or the waitress or server or your accounting person isn't there, anybody needs to be replaced, and all of a sudden you're scrambling around. So and so didn't show up. When I worked at DeVry years ago, we never canceled classes ever. If an instructor was sick, they found somebody to cover that class. They never canceled a class. All the other schools I've ever worked at would be the situation where if an instructor is sick, They just canceled the class. Now, let's talk about the 2 courses that we have, since we're on this topic. As we modified last week, okay, we did project management in the morning, and then a little later we moved it up, and I think it was very popular. We moved up workplace health and safety, this course. We moved it up to, what did we do, 11 in the morning? Noon your time, okay? So we moved it up. So I have a suggestion for you people, all right? It's just a suggestion. This is a long weekend coming up. We have a unique situation where it's the same instructor for 2 courses. Your entire Friday we spend together. So here's a thought for you. We will start our class at our regular time, which is 9 o'clock your time. We will do project management and finish that off. And maybe we'll take a 15-minute break between, and maybe we'll even do it between, but we won't take a gap. So on Friday of this week, because it's the long weekend, why don't we do project management, however long that takes us, and then go into workplace health and safety. And so we'll start the long weekend early. What do you think of that idea? Would you like that?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Obviously, if we're going to go for a longer period of time, like 2.5 hours, we'll take a break. But we'll just go from one. We'll go to the other. So you'll be done. I don't know. I would say my guess is say by 1 o'clock at the latest. No, that's your time. Yeah. No, we'll be done much sooner than that. Probably by noon your time. And we'll still have completed the work because we have a unique circumstance, right? So anybody like that idea? Do you think that would kind of give you a little bit of an extra long break to know that you're going to be done earlier on Friday? Rather than, I think our regular time is somewhat 2:30 in the afternoon, something like that. So I don't know about you, but I always like to leave work early on a Friday of a long weekend. Made the long weekends so much better. I've had sometimes terms where I've been done at noon on Fridays and not have to go and teach until Monday at like noon. Every weekend, it's like a long weekend every weekend. So we're in agreement with that, unless anybody has an issue with it. All right. Now, again, sometimes people do not feel comfortable talking about psychological or psychiatric situations. It's still something that is joked about, is made to feel like potentially shame about, which is so wrong. I know a person. Well, I told you my stepdaughter has been diagnosed with bipolar, and she takes medication. All right. And one of the things that I really like about her current boyfriend is this. One day, she didn't take her medications. And you can usually tell when she hasn't taken her medications. But anyways, and he simply reminded her and did not make her feel ashamed to be able to actually take the medications in front of him rather than feeling like, oh, I got to hide this and I got to go do this in the bathroom, or I got to go and be, feel guilty or ashamed about it. He sat down with her and he said to her, have you taken your medications? No, I haven't. Well, let's go get them. Let's, just made it very open. And I think that that's a wonderful thing. They did this, by the way, was within the first couple of weeks of them dating. And I admire him for that. I worked in psychiatry, by the way. I worked at Royal University Hospital in Saskatoon, and I was the executive director for a psychiatric center in Alberta. And it really opened my eyes to psychology and psychiatry, because in all my years of university, I never took psychology or sociology. 8 years of university, and I have no psychology courses or sociology courses. And one of the things that I have learned over the years is to be, it's not something to be ashamed of. And we talk much more about mental health. I've had probably, you know how I've brought this up before. I've probably this term had 6 or 7 students contact me with simply the effect with the message, thank you for talking about it in class. Even in the last week, I had a student at another school say, this is getting tough. This is, you people are in week 6. We're kind of getting into the mid-term doldrums, right? It's like, it's October. This is week 6 for you people. We're almost halfway done. It's like, oh, I'm getting tired of this. It's good that there's a long weekend. Well, try and extend your long weekend. So by being done a little bit early on Friday, but still getting done what we need to. If you attended project management yesterday, you're going to see a lot more of that. I'm going to try to spend class time with you to prepare you for the tests, like we did yesterday in project management. Study together, right? Now, again, we have social aspects, family circumstances, exposure to violence. So what happens at home can have a major impact on life. One person I worked with years ago, sometimes he'd come to work and he was really tired. Okay, did just have a bad night's sleep? He lived at home with his parents, and he had a very abusive father. The father was not abusive towards the son. The father was abusive towards the wife. And when that would happen, the son would go and sleep in the truck, in the driveway. So in that particular case, when his father became violent towards his mother, it was sort of like an open town secret, is he would sleep in the truck in their driveway. That affects you at work. And he told me one day, and you tell me what you think of this. This is what he told me one day. He said this: every once in a while, you need to slap your woman around. Now, what do you think of that statement? Oh, come on, that should elicit some sort of
I
outrage.
disagree with that. That's gross. But then he got that from his father.
Right. Okay, learned behaviors. From what I remember, he meant it. He wasn't just saying, like some stupid talk. He said that. Okay. Yeah, it's gross. It's disgusting. It's criminal. Is it not? So having exposure to violence at home because a parent is an alcoholic or a drug addict or has anger management issues. So family circumstances can greatly affect you at work. A lady that I worked with in the accounting department, I just thought of this. One day I went into work, we worked in the accounting, and she was wearing sunglasses in an office. And I noticed, if you looked really closely, that under one of her eyes was a bruise. That is gross, disgusting, criminal. So the point that I'm trying to make with this, it's not just circumstances at work. It's also circumstances at home. All right? That affect you. So again, self-esteem issues, coping with pressure. I know some students who've told me, like, the pressure that their parents put on them to go to school and excel is tremendous. It's, so, and even people at your young age. Okay, some stressors in this case. Again, just put it into various categories. So then, you have to categorize it by the frequency, how often it occurs, the duration, the severity / intensity, and, so I'm not sure what else to say except for you just put it into various categories. So here's a slide, obviously, to try and make it a little bit more clear. And you can see that a lot of the daily and acute, right, can be short term. The intensity, obviously with catastrophic, is extremely high. All right. So with there's acute, you know exactly when it began. It hopefully doesn't happen very often. And a traffic accident. I know that we have a student in our course who shared with the class one day that they were in a traffic accident. I have a cousin who was she worked at a bank in a small town. Actually, it's in Manitoba. I'm trying to remember the name of the town. It is northwest of Brandon. Anyways, she worked at a credit union. She's working at a credit union in a small town, and the bank gets robbed. The bank gets robbed, and the people who robbed the bank had guns. To this day, that causes her stress. That there's certain situations that come up that if she feels for her own personal safety, she gets these mild to severe panic attacks. That started when she was at work, and one day when she was at work, the bank got robbed. She's never shared with me the details, and I've never asked her the details to relive it. But, people had guns. That's all she told me. So whether her life was threatened or the gun was pointed at her or whatever the case may be, it affects her, and that's got to be at least 15 years ago, probably closer to 20, maybe even 25. It's quite some time ago. But to this day, it affects her. So a traffic accident, it would be, it happens. If you have an injury, if you fall off a ladder or something along that line. So, how many of you would feel that this is what's going on within your school lives these days and in life in general? That it's, well, maybe we can be a little more specific on time, But some people were feeling stressed before COVID hit. So do you think that what's going on in your own lives is chronic stress? That the pressure of being a student is causing you anxiety? Anybody care to share? What about this bottom point about job insecurity? Has anybody experienced that or know somebody? Who's had the fear of losing their job? Well, then I'll tell you a story because I want to make a point of this. And that's fine. If you people are tired, then that's fine. We'll finish off in about 10 minutes. How about that? Because we got lots of time on Friday. There was a guy I curled with about 5 or 6 years ago now, and the curling league I was in was on Sunday night, and how should I put it? He was never in a particularly good mood. He was always seemed like after the game, we'd go upstairs, have a drink. He never stayed very long. He was usually very quiet. He was kind of, he appeared stressed. You know the signs of it, right? And I asked him one time about this. I said, so like, are you okay? Like, you don't, not laughing, don't seem to be having a good time. And he said that Sunday night was one of the most stressful nights for him. The reason why is because there were layoffs he worked in oil and gas. So there were layoffs, and the layoffs would occur on Monday mornings. He said, I am fearful that every Monday morning when I go into work, they're going to call me in and I'm going to not have a job. So he was concerned. Every Sunday night was an incredibly stressful time for him because he was worried about losing his job every Monday when he went into work. I know somebody who works at Mount Royal. Apparently, when they lay people off, they do it on Thursdays. So she is stressed every Thursday that she's going to go into work because there's cutbacks. There's cutbacks at the school. She's worried that every Thursday she's going to lose her job. I had a student recently who told me, I cannot sleep at night. She is graduating this term. She will graduate in December. She told me that she couldn't sleep at night because she was trying to find a job and she needed to find a job. So she was not sleeping at night. I have no doubt that several nights she was stressed, in this case, about finding work. Fortunately, last week, she received actually 2 job offers. I can't even begin to imagine how much stress that reduced. She got 2 job offers last week. And yeah, I've become friends with her since I taught her. And she phoned me and said, David, I have to tell you, because I was one of her references. And she said, I have a job. The joy in her heart and in her mind must have been tremendous. So I'm very pleased for her. But if there's things that I can do for you people, all right? We have a small group. You know that. But if there's things that I can do, let's say that you're having struggles getting caught up. We have the recordings. I do expect you to listen to them. Okay. But let's say that a certain student or students are struggling with something, and now the midterm exam is coming up. We have the recordings. I do expect you to listen to them. I want to make that clear. But let's say you feel like you need some extra help. We can meet online. We can stay at the end of class. I can turn off the recording if you just want it to be a private conversation between me and you. And you can ask me some questions. David, could you go over what project how to calculate earliest start and earliest finish? What does the critical path mean? So if you do that work, then I will spend extra time with you during class time. Okay?
How do we listen to the recordings? Like, where are they in Learn?
They should be in Learn. I honestly don't know. Is that where they are, class?
I haven't seen them in Learn. That's why I'm asking.
I don't know where they are. It doesn't show up anywhere. Does anybody know?
No, what you record?
Yeah, where are the previous recordings?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were supposed to like post them or something, but I don't.
I don't know how to do that.
I only watch the YouTube videos of the classes, but that's it. I don't know any about recording.
Okay. I don't know where they are. I have no clue. Every school uses different software, and I'm not sure where these are. I do record them. I don't. Hang on a sec. So I don't know where they are. You might have to ask one of your other instructors because I'm not sure. So let's see if I can find them quickly. I'll tell you what, I was going to let you people go about this time anyways. So if you want to stay, we'll finish off this chapter on Friday. And I'm just going in to learn. I don't get any emails. It should be the same place as your other courses. Like, I don't know. Where do you listen to them in your other courses?
I don't think we have recordings.
Yeah, no, if usually if someone missed a class, they just missed the class. I don't think they record anything, honestly.
Okay. All right. So they don't record?
One of our instructors, who is it, Jason, he records part of his lecture, and I don't think our other instructor does. I've never
Okay.
seen that red dot.
Hang on a sec. Because I'll tell you what, let me, because I'm looking into the recorded events. Hang on. Because I sort of blended them all together. If I lose you, I'll come back. Yeah, the link I send only says start a meeting. Huh. I don't know. I do record them, by the way. And let me see. So I've been deleting. No. All right. So in this case, I'm not sure where they are. Some of them I have to post it, or I have to log out of something. Okay. Sometimes it's, all right, hang on a sec.
But I think the YouTube classes that you have already recorded, those are like they're really good.
Okay,
So I just use that instead because that.
all right. I haven't done that for workplace health and safety. So,
So I'm just like Googling about recordings for WebEx, and
mhm.
only the person that recorded them can access them. They have to be shared somehow.
Okay, that I do
Yeah.
not. I have no idea how to do that. All I get is reminders. Hang on a sec. I just get all these reminders. I don't know. Let me check. All right. Here's what I'm willing to do for people. Here's what I'm willing to do. I've done the ones for project management. I'll spend time this weekend and I'll do recordings on the PowerPoint slides for chapters 1 through 7. I'll post them in the same place as I do project management. I'll just do like chapter 1, workplace health and safety. How about that? There'll probably be 20 minutes to half an hour. And I'll work on those this weekend. So I'll sort of in essence redo the lectures that we've been going over and highlighting certain things for chapters 1 through 7. Now that I actually have all of them, and I'll start for the upcoming chapters. Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. But rather than sending you, well, I might put them on a different link, but I'll send you the link. So you people give me some feedback because it's going to cause me a fair amount of extra work, which I do not mind doing. Okay. I want to make sure that's clear. I don't mind doing the extra work if it's of value. How many of you are finding the project management videos helpful? It's
Me.
okay. I know some of you may have not looked at it. Is anybody plan to watch the videos for project management in preparing for your midterm exam? You haven't done it yet?
I will.
Yeah, I will too for the midterm.
Then why don't we do the same thing for workplace health and safety? All right. So that's going to cause me extra work, which is totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. Then I'll do those this weekend. I'll actually start them tomorrow. But I'll probably, the more I think about it, I'll create a separate channel for that. So it's not confusing. All right. Let me ask you this, since it's on point, does that help reduce your stress a little bit? I guess not.
It'll help. I don't think it'll reduce stress.
Okay. I didn't say it will eliminate. Will it help reduce stress is what I'm trying to say. Will it just make things a little bit easier for you? So
Yeah, I
I
think
hope it
having
is.
that extra tool just in case you want to like remember the chapter and everything. I think that's really helpful. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't mind doing the extra work as long as it's helpful. If you say, no, it's not, I'm not really going to use it, then I won't bother with it. So, okay. And it's time to go. So I'm going to make a note that what slide did we end up on? Slide number 10. All right. So on Friday, we'll start with slide number 11.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Okay. Take care, people. Thanks for showing up. Bye-bye.
Thank you.